Minister, I will give you the floor to make a few opening remarks to this committee. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you to my fellow colleagues for your invitation to speak before this committee. You, as members of the Committee on Official Languages, and I, as Minister responsible for official languages, are committed to protecting and promoting our two official languages. We are working to ensure that the Government of Canada serves our community partners as effectively as possible. In fact, as Minister of Canadian Heritage and Official Languages, I am pleased to underline that we have just celebrated the 40th anniversary of the implementation of the Official Languages Act. This act gave the French and English languages equal status in the federal public service, requiring the government to better serve Canadians in the official language of their choice.
Work is an important component in ensuring that taxpayers' money is used wisely. As you can imagine, this level of diligence takes time. We are providing leadership on official languages, and we rely on our valuable partners active within communities to make our commitments possible. Bien que je me rende compte que
Although I realize that not everything is to the satisfaction of everyone, I can assure you that in meetings, many groups across the country during my roundtables, and especially representatives from the Quebec Community Groups Network and the Fédération des Communautés Francophones et Acadiennes, there is a good working relationship between the government and these groups. However, I would like to underline that despite this good relationship, there are situations that make the work of community groups difficult. When I visited the Francophone community of Prince Edward Island, I heard their grievances, and I can tell you that their complaints were not ignored. It was the first time that a federal minister of official languages visited this community, and I was pleased to see for myself their passion and their devotion, both of which I found particularly personally touching. We have paid particular attention to the community's concerns about delays in processing applications and the weight of administrative processes, and we are committed to addressing their concerns. These issues have had repercussions on community organizations in terms of human resources management and access to credit. They have also led to uncertainty in the planning process. Indeed, it is our partners who make our two official languages a living reality. We are convinced that among them, low-risk clients, such as some communities with which we have worked for many years, should be subject to a less demanding process that would suit them better. Treasury Board recently approved official languages support programs procedures. This will allow reductions in payment frequency and in the number of reports to be submitted by recipients to receive funding. We believe that this is a positive step toward lightening the administrative burden of our community partners.
By our government, community groups are now receiving stability and certainty and are faced with less red tape in the funding process. Il est désormais possible à l'intérieur des programmes d'appui aux langues officielles de choisir.
It is now possible within the official languages support programs to choose to provide a grant rather than a contribution if funding for an organization is less than $50,000. Previously, the threshold was $30,000. In receiving a grant rather than a contribution, the organization avoids certain administrative requirements. Further, I have asked my officials to make other improvements to address the problem. In a few moments, they will give you more details, but here is a summary.
Official language community partners to submit multi-year funding applications. Next year, a number of contribution agreements will be in place, which means that the volume of recommendations will be reduced. This will allow better planning by the organizations and will lighten their administrative burden. Aussi, toutes les procédures.
In addition, all procedures have been examined to shorten the time needed for processing applications and issuing payments to recipients. New service standards will be implemented starting April 1st, 2010. establishing a single deadline for all provinces and territories for 2011-2012. The 25% for groups will be distributed earlier, so they should receive their funding by the beginning of April.
From beginning to end is going to be simplified and will be streamlined for the recipients. Nous sommes fermement engagés à répondre.
We are firmly committed to addressing recipients' concerns, effectively and efficiently carrying out programs for Canadians, and finding a proper balance between due diligence and administrative burden. We are already taking steps to address these concerns. I would also like to take this opportunity to remind the committee about some of our achievements that show our commitment to official languages throughout this country.